Oh, what's going on, everybody, man? What are we doing on this? It looks not too bad out there. Sunday. It said today that Tom Brady is about to, his ownership deal is about to go through with the NFL. I also said Raiders could flip the world upside down with this change, with this trade. Man, Cranston East, man. We know who applied. We know who applied for the job. That's been a hot topic. I mean, look at coaching jobs in general. Only a couple has popped up this season. The last couple of seasons, we have what, 8 and 9 coaching jobs. So for the Cranston East job to open up, the Moses Brown job opens up. What's interested about Moses Brown is you could really Moses Brown is in the position to bring in a lot of kids and give them free money. Moses Brown can definitely bring in. They gave up 8 million in financial aid last year alone. Remember when Willie Edwards was over there? All the superstars that Willie Edwards had on his program. So the Perrys, they're just gonna, salute to the Perrys who've been bringing kids into LaSalle for many years. Now you're gonna have a streamline right on the east side, Mount Hope Cowboys, Moses Brown. I think that program could flip things upside down if they're competitive for the next 2 years through the next alignment. It could very much catapult Moses Brown over to Division One and put him up against the top echelons like Hendricken, LaSalle that all have that unfair advantage. Yeah, so that was a great job, and they put the right guy in place. One of the Perrys. The Perry brothers have been on the east side promoting football for a long time. Nadeem Robinson, good friends with them. Herlin Perry, his son just committed to, a big Florida school. Congratulations to him. Speaking of that, Ben Gorman, going up there to play, going to West Point, that's a big deal going up to West Point. I think West Point has a feeder program. And I think a lot of students go into the West Point feeder program. But either way, going into that program is what's up, man. Yo, Cranston East, Cranston East, Cranston East. That been the big talk about. Remember fake news? Remember I put out last week that I thought Stanley Dunbar, was the new head coach of Cranston East. I don't think I'm too far off because we know who applied. And Cranston East wants to rebuild their program. They want, they definitely need a coach that's going to come in there and that's going to know how to rebuild a program, and when I said last week that Stanley, oh ha ha ha, he kind of laughed it off, fake news, he's already lying to the community. But I mean, it's basically, well, we don't know he got the job, so I can't say that. But who applied? Who applied for that job? A lot of people were pulling for Jimmy Cook. A lot of people said Jimmy Cook, that should be his job for the taking. And that's why I brought Wes Pennington on, a little bit before that, because a lot of people knew that Wes Pennington always wanted to coach at Cranston East. Wes Pennington probably on the downside of his career. His daughter is getting older. He's doing more for Mothers Against Drunk Driving, which Mothers Against Drunk Driving in Rhode Island, has been on a decline the last couple of years. So it definitely needed a boost. Wes Pennington came in, took over Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And I think he's happy at where he is at West Warwick, So, I told people that I think if Wes Pennington leaves West Warwick, he'll be done with football, unless something opens up in the higher ranks. But so we knew Wes Pennington wasn't going for the Cranston East job. We knew that wasn't gonna happen. There was a lot of talk what was going on in Moses Brown. Who were they gonna bring in for a coach? And I already said in the beginning of the show, Moses Brown gave up 8 million last season. $8 million in financial aid, giving up to 96%. So, and they said they will turn no student away. So you want to send your kid to a program, Moses Brown is definitely the program probably to send them right now. They said they have the money. 43% of Moses Brown last year was financial aid. 43% of Moses Brown's student body was financial aid, getting anywhere from 5% up to the high 90s in financial aid. You don't think if Coach Perry brings in a couple good players that they're going to okay the financial aid at Moses Brown being in Division II? And we knew last year, the year before, Moses Brown had a good young team. You had Coach Valley over there before Coach Valley moved on. Moses Brown, definitely a great program to take over. And I think with the Perrys over there, they're definitely probably going to be in Division II for one alignment, because if you look at the past 6 years, they'll probably have what it takes to catapult them up to Division I to compete with Hendricken, to compete with LaSalle. I mean, it's been no secret that a lot of programs don't want to compete with them, and that's why the RAIL is going to have the 2 championship divisions this year. They're going to have the state championship bracket, and then the remaining 6 teams will fall into the Division I championship. And from what I understand, the loser doesn't drop down to the Division I bracket, which that is good, because if you lose, if you make it to the state championship and you lose, then you lose. There has to be some price to pay. Not that if you lose, we could still go down to the Division I bracket. I know we're in Rhode Island, and we want to make everyone feel better, because everyone, we can't mess with anyone's feelings. You know what I mean? But nah, that shit all cap. Like, if you lose in the state championship, you out, you done. You shouldn't go on. And every team in D1 is going to most likely make the playoffs. Anything I ever brought you guys was always facts. And that's why, like, when I said Stanley Dunbar was going to be the next coach for Cranston East, and then what does Stanley do? Oh, my God, he runs to the computer. Fake news. Ha, ha, ha. I mean, so we know who the who is. We know Stanley Dunbar replied, even though he said, no, he's lying. When have I ever came on here and lied? I got no reason to lie. We know being up in Suffield, it was going to be hard for him to promote breakthrough. Stanley has swag. It's like, look at the shiny ball over here. He coached in Coventry for 2 years. I think he went, probably like 3-8 in both of them seasons. Got coach of the year in one of them. But coach of the year, we all know the coaches get together. Hey, who should we vote for? And they kind of come up. Yeah, we'll vote for that guy. All right, buddy. He's always buying us beers. But they got it right last year with Coach McDonald up there at Portsmouth. Definitely deserving. Guy's sick, has cancer. Prayers up for Coach McDonald. And they go and do the right thing for him. So coach of the year, okay. So you go 3-8 in both of them seasons at Coventry. Dwayne Miranda leaves Westerly. Coach Storr was set to take the job. Would have been a great, great coach. Coach Storr has some personal problems. He can't take the job. Coach Dunbar jumps in there. He's there for 2 years. I think he goes 8-3 in both of them years, right? So, okay. So 4 years as a head coach, that puts you at a .530 win percentage. So that's about average. You run breakthrough. That looks nice, nice product. You put on a great, great product. Your marketing is A1, and that's what people are seeing. They're seeing his marketing. He goes out to Suffield. What's wrong with Suffield? That could be a $70,000 gig, housing, everything that they pay for. But sometimes you're not by yourself. That there's 2 people in it with you. They have a kid. And it's a lot of commuting back and forth to Providence to run breakthrough. So it wasn't working out for him. You would have to get someone else to run breakthrough. You know what I mean? Someone else to handle all the finances. No, we don't want no one handling that. We have to handle that. So we have to get our ass back to Rhode Island. Oh, a job opens up. Moses Brown, nope. I knew I wasn't capping when I said he applied for Cranston East and he was looking favorable to get the job. Who's on the Cranston East board? A former Cranston East coach and a former URI alumni, same person. Stanley goes to URI, so he might get the nod over there, you know. So not a bad coach to bring in. You want to bring in a coach at Cranston East that can rebuild your program, you know, taking the bus from school to the practice field. That can't be easy. Are the seniors going to be able to drive their own car, or do they have to ride on the bus? The academics, keeping kids eligible. There's a lot of variables to Cranston East, so not every coaching job is a good coaching job, but that will get him in the door. Jimmy Cook. Shout out to Jimmy Cook. A lot of people said Jimmy Cook was favored for that job. He applied a couple years ago, was going up against West Pennington. It was getting late. He didn't want to leave Pontigansett. He didn't want to hang him out to dry and just leave him. I mean, in all reality, they ended up hanging him out to dry with what they pulled on him. So he probably should have did that, you know. But he didn't want to go against West Pennington. And what was a better job at that time for Pennington? Was it D1? Cranston East? That was coming out of COVID, had a lot of kids not eligible. You know what I mean? You know, it was going to be hard to build a championship. Or was you better off going to West Warwick, dropping down to Division III, a chance to rebuild, bring your team to the Super Bowl in his third season? You know, so West Warwick probably was the better plan. And that's why when the job opened up, a lot of people were concerned, is West Pennington applying for this job? People were asking me. So I brought West Pennington on and I asked him, and he said, you know, yeah, Cranston East is a job he always wanted. He was an alumni at Cranston East, but it's not in his plans. He's happy where he's at West Warwick. You know, Christian Sermels, another, you know, Rhode Island guy that applied for the job. That's, you know, very mature for, I think he's about 27, been coaching up at Bishop Feenan. You know, he ran the Trent University. I think he was involved in the Ducks, but Christian Sermels is someone that has that experience. I don't know if he's ready, has the experience to build a program, but it's good that he gets these interviews. There's a Massachusetts guy that we don't know, being out of town. Rhode Island teams, they're really not too big on hiring out of towners. I mean, Westerly brought in New London's, you know, with Dwayne Miranda, but, you know, do Westerly programs really, I mean, do Rhode Island high school programs really bring in people that they don't know? Usually these communities like what they like. They want who they want. And back to Jimmy Cook a minute. I didn't write none of this down, as you can probably see, but back to Jimmy Cook, CLCF. Jimmy Cook has a strong hold on CLCF. It's no, you heard what Piva said when he came on. At least kids won't have to travel all the way there from Cranston, you know. But shout out to Jimmy Cook. But his brother, I think he has a brother Michael who's over there, and from what I understand, that Jimmy Cook's family is big into CLCF. And, you know, and another guy that's been at Bishop Hendricken for quite a few years. He's embedded in the Cranston community. You know, I think he works for the city and in the school department. He ran a couple of youth programs. He orchestrated the Rhode Island freshman championship this year. Is Julio O'Donnell, another guy that applied for the Cranston East job. You know, so out of them four guys, you know, excluding the out of town guy, who has a better chance? Is it Julio? Is it Christian Sermos? Two guys that been on some good programs. One up in Bishop Feenan and at Attleboro. Not sure of how much success Bishop Feenan has had. And another guy that's been at Bishop Hendricken, working on the side of Coach Croft, and I'm sure he has Coach Croft's blessings. But they're probably going to bring in either Cook or Dunbar. And what people are saying, it's definitely a former RIL coach. We already know that. And a lot of people are hearing that, Dunbar is going to be the guy to take over Cranston East. My opinion, is he going to be there long? I don't think so. I think him coming into Cranston East might just be a way to get his foot back into Rhode Island. You know what I mean? Which, it's smart. Breakthrough is important to him, and he's probably just too far out of the loop to really handle breakthrough. So, yeah, but you left Westerly because he didn't really have the job he wanted, and you can't hate about that. You want to make your money. Coach Pizzato takes over Westerly. Stanley goes up to Suffield. You want to make your money, but who y'all think is going to be the next Cranston East coach? We know who the finalists are. Will they bring in somebody that two of the guys have not had the experience of rebuilding programs, working as assistant coaches for two very, very good programs. One Bishop Feenan, one Bishop Hendricken. Seeing how Coach Croft did it, would it be the same as when you come to a public program? And then you got Coach Dunbar, who runs Breakthrough, markets well. But yeah, so it's very, what do you think? Gonna be very interesting to see what happens with these two programs. Division 2 is gonna break down. Let's see, but the Moses Brown will be in 18. So it's probably gonna be Snake who you end up playing. It's gonna be on an RPI. So and let's look at Division 3. E.g. Classical, Pono, Rogers, Pilgrim, Johnston, Cranston East, Charahoe, Mount Hope, North Providence, Central Falls. Somebody commented, boy, Dunbar, it's a step down from Westerly. But good luck. Let's see where else we have there. So the proposed alignment, are we all in? There's a few situations that kind of look crazy. And one situation would be Narragansett. Narragansett just won a couple back-to-backs a couple years ago in 4 and then 3. They had like one down year, and you kind of catapult them down. And then you look at who was the other team that stuck out? Division 4. You look at Division 4. What the hell happened to? Oh, this is Division 4. Where's Central Falls? Central Falls got pushed up to 3. What did they do to deserve that? Remember the season CF had last season? Crazy. So to put CF in 3, I don't see how they could be happy. Based on the realignment. And to go on an RPI, we don't even know how that freaking RPI is going to be. I see some up and downs about that RPI. Coach Storr said, I know who the number one choice is. With Coach Storr being a URI guy, shout out to Coach Storr. I've been trying to get him on the podcast. Let's break down your, when you won that D1 championship joint. But, we will see. We will see. Shout out to Coach McDonald. This is probably one of the times that they got Coach of the Year right. This guy was definitely deserving. Never met him. But hearing everything he went through last season, being sick and all, pushing his program to where he did, I'm not sure what the future is with Portsmouth, but putting them in Division One, that was tough. That was absolutely tough. What's up, Najee? Shout out to Najee Barrows over there, up there, Division 3 football. Another thing I want to talk about, some people seen what I said about walk-ons the other day, and, I don't think there's ever a good situation for a walk-on. Well, that's not true. I don't think there's a good situation for a walk-on if you have recruitable deals, even if they are Division 3. A lot of kids, a lot of coaches, they want to push that Division 1 or bust, and they don't want to let their kids go on and do walk-ons. They want to let their kids go do walk-ons instead of doing a Division 3. I seen of a recent situation where the kid could have went to school for under $5,000, going to a D3 program that's winning, a D3 program that's probably going to break ground anytime on a new facility. A D3 program that's working its way up in the system. And you end up, you don't do that, but you want to do a walk-on. Now, what you might not understand about walk-ons is that's a full pay. You have to pay. There is no financial aid for a walk-on. There's been very few situations where the kid is like a 4.2, a core 4.0, so yeah, there are some circumstances, but they don't give you no financial aid for year one walk-on. There's 80-something kids that they thought were better than you. And then you know how hard you have to show and prove? And then if you don't get a scholarship by your second year, you're going to be another class behind as a walk-on. So that's two classes, because that's two classes that they gave money to over you. So I tell kids, D1, D2, Division 3, there is no, your diploma don't say none of them. Not that we can't push guys to the NFL, not that we don't have the talent, but it's very hard to make it to that level. And when I say we don't produce D1 athletes, I don't mean we don't send guys to Division 1. Of course we do. I'm talking about high echelon Division 1. Very far in between. And that's because it becomes an activity in Rhode Island. Try to go to Dick's Sports in football season and buy a football helmet. You can't get it because no one comes in to buy that type of stuff. You go the second time around, they have a lot of that, they have a lot of lacrosse stuff. And the league makes it hard to work with players. You got to make it, you got to let them be able to work out around the clock, year round. And especially with the transfer portal now, it's crazy. To make it to a D1 program, your top 10 core classes is what they count. That means your freshman year has to be stellar. Your sophomore year has to be stellar. And half of your junior year. That's all they classes. And when I say your core classes, I don't mean gym, them stupid electives, that you score good in, that you get good grades in. They don't count none of them. They count your English, your reading. So by your junior year, if you can get into a D1 program. What did Bishop Hendricken? They 2 kids in the first week of D1 sign. 2 kids sign their letters. Shout out to that for even sending 2 kids. I thought Oscar Way would have been definitely the first to get signed. And another one is what is it? Rajon Francis, Quiddy Pay's little brother. I thought he would have definitely been one of the first ones out the door. It'd be nice to see him following his brother's footsteps, right? Go to Michigan. That's why you go to Bishop Hendricken, right? They say for that private school experience, for the grades, So these are two kids that we should definitely see go division one, So I'm waiting for that anytime now. And let me know whatever your kids are doing in college, But Emerson always said success in football is playing any level after high school, and I have contacts with some college coaches, and they always told me I'm free to call them with any questions. And if you all have any questions that you're not sure of, because the schools say that, our responsibility is get the kids to graduate. It's really, we really don't have time, off the record, of course. We don't have time to get them into college and do all that other stuff, So who's it fall on? The coaches, some of them have that D1 or bust mentality. And that's just not the mentality to have. Get into college. You have the transfer portal. Just because you are promote. Shout out to Coach Fortin. That reminds me. That's something else that I've been wanting to talk about, Coach Fortin and his situation. But to get into college, you have to have that core GPA. You have to make sure you have, especially for that D1 or D2, and apply everywhere. Why are you not applying to D3 programs, D2 programs? If you're in the portal, say you're a freshman, you're a freshman at a Division II school. You're not happy because they haven't played me this year. Eddie Insko said Jimmy Cook should get the job. Yo, shout out for you guys. Shout out for you for speaking up. Who should get that job? We need to have a poll. Who should get the job? Stanley Dunbar? Jimmy Cook? Julio O'Donnell? Or Christian Sermels? Or we'll say the guy from Massachusetts. But don't forget, Stanley Dunbar said it was fake news. He said it was fake news. So he must have, we know he applied. Cranston, nothing's kept a damn secret. Wesley Pennington says Jimmy Cook. We already talked about that. Wes Pennington said, I'm staying put at West Warwick. I enjoy being a wizard. And I know West Warwick administration is happy to have him. Jimmy Cook kind of, he decides not to leave Ponagansett a couple years ago. He didn't want to leave them high and dry. And I said earlier, why not? They left you high and dry. So where was the loyalty at? And he still had parents over there at Pono that are still backing up Jimmy Cook. And who has a better resume? Look at the body of work. Okay, let's look at the body of work and decide. I don't know Jimmy Cook's record, but I know he's been around quite a while. I think Coach Dunbar already said has a 530 win percentage overall in high school football. He won 3 games each season at Coventry, and I think he won 8-3 at Westerly 2 of the years, before going over to before he went and had that private school experience. You know what I mean? So not every job is a good job. So who should get the job? Cook should get the job, he said. I agree. Coach Cook should have the job. Other people said it in the comment sections. We got a lot of people in support of Coach Cook. Cook is one of the top coaches in the state. About time people want to start speaking up. Before Cook went to, I know he definitely turned Ponagansett around. Ponagansett was like they were bad, man. Ponagansett was bad before Coach Cook went in there, and he definitely turned that program around. I mean, so he definitely knows how to rebuild a program. And the kids at Coventry shouldn't even feel like, this is how it works, And you should want your coach to go do better for himself. You should want one of your coaches to go get a head coaching job. Hey, that transfer portal, man, that's something else that makes me think of Coventry. I know Coventry has an EWG transfer that's coming in, and he might fall under the transfer rules, but someone said that his athletic director said 1 year. And I was like, 1 year? I thought the rules said 35 days. But we got to check the new transfer rules that we should just call the Mike Washington rules now. Them rules are crazy. Coach Penn said he has a connection to the program, which is why he should get the job. They need someone who really cares about the program and the city. That's actually a fact. Cranston definitely needs somebody that is connected to the city, cares about the program. Because look, they're in Division 3. A lot of people are like, whoa, why are they in Division 3? They were just in Division 1 a couple years ago before RIL pushes everybody out. Well, everybody ran from Bishop Hendrick and Kansas. I don't blame them. Everybody ran from them two top echelon programs, man. And now we're getting closer to football. We got teams in the gym. North Smithfield in the gym 3 times a week. That's what's up. They want to win. They want to win. Transfer rule is 35 days at any grade level. That's what I thought. Shout out to Johnston Athletic Director Justin Erickson doing a great job at Johnston. And speaking of Johnston, man, prayers go up to Tyler, man. Prayer for Tyler was involved in an ATV accident. So let's all send prayers for Tyler. We should make that a hashtag. So sending prayers to the Johnston student, man. Big prayers up, man. It's a sad situation. Accidents happen, but we need to send prayers for Tyler. I believe I have a post up on one of my pages. It's actually a friend of ours, a family member. Everybody on here. When I say a friend of ours, I mean everybody in this community. So Chris Carbone, he said Cook. A lot of people on here said Cook. I don't see anybody saying Dunbar, but I think it would come down between Dunbar and Cook because Cranston needs someone that can come in and rebuild the program, someone that has that experience. Not saying that the other guys cannot do it. Prayers being sent out. Exactly, man. Shout out prayers for Tyler, man. This kid definitely needs all our prayers, hopefully for a full recovery. Tyler's on his ATV, a new ATV, so no one really knows what could have happened. Could have been mechanical failure. He ends up riding into a pole, has some serious injuries. So we just want to send positivity to Tyler's family, so everybody hashtag prayers for Tyler. Because I don't want to see any kid have to go through any type of pain. So sending big prayers out for that young man. And thank you, Mr. Justin Erickson, for the transfer rule is 35 days at any grade level. So I'm not sure what the Coventry athletic director, maybe they just got the rules mixed up, but someone reached out to me, and I know that the transfer rule has changed. Some joke around, they call it the Mike Washington rule, closing up all them loopholes that you have to have like a bona fide address, family court order. Yes, Coach Pennington said, let's not get it twisted. Stanley is a great coach. He could do it, but they need a commitment for longevity. And I think Jimmy would be committed for the long haul, which is what Cranston needs. And I agree with that. I think Stanley is going to use this program as a stepping stone. He's going to use it to get back in Rhode Island, and I'm sure he's like, oh, what the hell, this and that. He ain't, but It's okay. He's going to use it to get back into Rhode Island. And when another job opens up, he's going to leave. Coventry, 2 years. Westerly, 2 years. You know, he goes up to this other place for a year. He has the breakthrough thing going. And he's making money hand over fist. You know, so, but I think he's right. I think if you give Jimmy Cook that job being connected to Cranston, I think he's there for the long haul. And I think over time, Jimmy Cook can rebuild that program. Say what you want. A lot of people say retreads. Why do they keep bringing in these same old retreads? Is he a retread? I mean, you could say the same thing about Stanley. Breakthrough is definitely on point. Shout out to Coach Dunbar. You know what I mean? That's what's up. How about we ask if I left Coventry and Westerly? Did you leave Coventry and Westerly? I mean, how about if we ask, why I left Coventry and Westerly? Well, you left Coventry for a better job. We all know that. We all know Westerly was a step up from Coventry. We all know it was a step up from Coventry. And it's no hate coming to like getting your foot back in the door. I knew that school was going to be too far to do that. And breakthrough. I tried to get in the building at both schools. He did. But did one offer you a class that you could take to eventually get in the building? I mean, Dwayne Miranda eventually got in the building for taking that class. And I don't know. I don't even know if I like that was a good job. Like that's a good paying job. It's like why leave that? But to do the breakthrough thing, I guess that's why you would. But there's people up here saying, so are you willing to at least say that you applied for the Cranston East job and you want to come back to Rhode Island? I mean, ain't no shame on that. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but we know who it comes down to. We pulling them out the woodwork. Coach Dunbar said, hell no, I gotta speak up here. But when you put out the other day fake news, like we didn't know you applied, Mikey be getting it. They be reaching out, they be calling me. And I kind of hated when you said that fake news shit because it kind of was like, yo, damn, I put some shit out that was the wrong information. And come to find out, I was right after all. And you kind of went out of your way to say fake news. And when have I ever came on here and kept? I may not say what people like, what they want me to say, but when have I ever came on here and made up some shit?
I love what Mikey does. Sometimes I'm like, yo, you over the edge, TMZ with it. But
the boy gonna do you something nasty.
I hate to say it, more times than not, he get the results he wants.
Right, and to be honest with you, I honestly don't think it's over. Honestly, I think exactly what this state needs. We've always needed a platform where we can call out the nonsense,
the repercussions,
and give people the props that they deserve, and call out the people who are full of it. And honestly, I think that more and more people are starting to utilize Mike's platform for that. And honestly, I know a lot of folks. A lot of people talk to me, "Oh, Emerson, like you're on there and you talk this and you talk that," and I'm like, "Listen," I said. Name one thing that he's been wrong about. And then there's silence.
And you went on there saying fake news, act like I was wrong about that shit. Integrity, baby. Integrity. You know what I mean? Someone said, yo, Mike, you remember what you said about Coach Dunbar? About, about him going after the Cranston job? Yo, don't lose sight of that. But let the better man get the job. I want to clear up that I took over an All-11 team at 27. In first year, went 4-6 and broke a 13-year losing streak to West Warwick. Year 2, we went 3-7. Year 2, we went 3-7. After that, went to Westerly and made D2 semis 3 years in a row. That's all I have to say. I'm employed at Suffield Academy. And I think I said that. I think I said at Coventry, you was 3. All right, I said 3-8. I kind of gave you an extra game. You was 3-8. Westerly makes the semis. The only year Westerly hasn't made the semis in the last recent years was the year Dwayne Miranda was half in and half out. So you did what Westerly does. Westerly makes the semis. So what are you really? All right, a 13-year losing streak on Thanksgiving. That's what you hang in your hat on. Winning 3 games each of the year and winning a game on Thanksgiving. And coming into Westerly, since Dwayne Miranda came in the door at Westerly, they made the semis every year. But his final year, because he had his head half in and half out when he was going to pro. So what'd you do there? All right, you brought a couple extra guys in. Cranston East definitely benefits either way, but I just had to correct something. You know what I mean? Clear it up. Yeah, you did take a team that was 0-11. In the first year, you went 4-6. What do you know? What did I say? I said 3-8. You know what I mean? You got coach of the year. See, you're just taking it and twisting it. With a 13-year losing streak to West Warwick. And you got coach of the year for that. And then you go to Westerly and made the D2 semis. You're supposed to make the D2 semis in Westerly. They make the D2 semis. Except for a couple of seasons, Westerly has been making the D2 semis. Shout out to you, man. Do your thing, man. I'm glad I've been entertained. That's what I'm here for. Stay blessed. Shout out to you and your family. I know you had a little baby, salute to her, wish, I don't know if it is it a girl? I wish much luck, much blessings come your way. And I hope the best man gets the job. But I told you the only thing I was tight on is you coming out with that fake news shit. You know what I mean? So just own that. It is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Good luck. Get the job. I didn't say fake news. You did. Both coaches are definitely great. Both coaches have a chance at the position. All I said was Jimmy Cook is a Cranston East guy. His brother has a big connection over there. We ain't saying you're not a great coach or a good coach. We ain't saying you're not a good coach. You got a 530 win percentage. And I'm sure you did big things at Suffield. So you over here acting like there's hate in the house. I just say you got the job and you make me sound like a liar. And I just had to prove that I ain't a liar. And what I say was true. Be right back.
Look back and you're gonna see the work back. Oh, they got no chance, like they stuck in the friend zone. Fly got dropped the hook and then he running to the end zone.
I'll be a down till I die. Between the hedges looking fly. 90,000 in the stands. I'ma do my dance, make it look fly. Coach put me in the game.
Owens, my last question is what is the success rate of sex change operations?
Well, we have, it's hard to find longer term data with children, but what the data that we do have, which is probably the most reliable data point available, is from a Swedish study, and it looked at over 10 years, which is really important because regret doesn't just happen a year after some sort of transition. And what you see is a suicide rate that's associated with 19 times higher than the general population.
Well, actually, there is a 0%, there's a 100% failure rate for sex change operations, isn't there? Because it's not possible to change your sex?
That's right.
100% failure rate for these procedures.
That's right. You can't change your sex.
Thank you. And
they're not even allowed to drink beer. I would say they're not allowed to change their gender.
If we're only looking at gender reassignment surgery, which is basically the last step of transition, the rates of regret that we find in the follow-ups from those surgeries are far lower than any other medical procedures.
Now, I would like to point out that the American Psychological Association has said themselves that there are no long-term case studies on the use of hormone or gender reassignment surgery, simply because the data isn't there. So if there's no long-term case studies, how do you know they're not going to regret it in the future? And I would argue that
now that men can compete in women's sports and be Woman of the Year. So no, AOC, conservatives are not mad at Barbie. They're annoyed that you've wokeified another historic piece of American pop culture in an attempt to woke wash children. And that's bullshit. So the Barbie movie dropped and everybody's talking about it. AOC tweeted that...
What's up? I'm back. Yo, we haven't even got into the Lemur investigation up there at Cumberland High School. That's pretty interesting what's going on up there. I guess information started coming into the school board about Lima. Yo, this shit was crazy. I wish I had that is, somebody said that Coach Dunbar, if you commit, will you commit for the long haul? Us at Cranston East want to know that. So they want to know if you're going to commit for the long haul and not be the end of that. I was just mentioning the Coach Lemur investigation, which is going on up there in Cumberland. The school committee, I guess they had enough. The school committee said, we have enough. And they went into private session, executive session, and they approved a motion to hire a private investigator to come in and investigate the football program, investigate Josh Lemur. They already talked to several parents for a couple hours, actually. The amount of information that they've been getting is pretty insane. One of the investigations, something I reported on November, when was it? November 3rd, about a player being assaulted. I guess that player was suspended. There was a video of that the principal had, the athletic director had. The player was barred from going to the banquet, getting any of his trophies, all that stuff. Lehman was like, you get nothing. And the athletic director backed it up. The principal suspended the kid. The video ended up showing the kid do everything he can to get away. And I was told when this is all over, I'll be getting everything. I'll be getting the videos, all that stuff. So we'll definitely talk about that. So this was done. So they ended up suspending the kid for 5 days. The parent appealed it to the school committee. I mean, he appealed it to the principal and the superintendent. He appealed it to them. They denied it, which was kind of funny because, again, remember, there was a videotape of the kid doing everything he can to get away from the situation. Now, allegedly, the coaches were not in the room, which means these kids were unattended. There was a bunch of people who ended up sending in an email about it. So the kid was assaulted, and I said he was taken to the hospital. I think he might have had a fractured eye socket, or something like that. He was suspended. So the parent ends up going to the school committee. And when the school committee seen the video taken by another student, which showed the victim doing everything he could to get away from the aggressor, who approached him several times and eventually punched him from behind as the victim was walking away. And then the school committee voted 6-0 to overturn the suspension and expunge it from his record. And the conduct of the school administration is part of the reason why the school committee okayed this investigation up there at Cumberland. More prayers going out to the family of Tyler. Hashtag pray for Tyler. But the victim ended up getting 5 days out of school, 27 days that he couldn't go to any events for the school, including his football team's playoff run. The appeal was heard 35 days after the incident, so he had already served all of the suspension. The administration had the video and still suspended him, and that's when the school committee seen the video. They couldn't rationalize for suspending the victim at all. It was obvious that he was trying to avoid a confrontation. You know, there was other reports of a parent saying that, let me see if I can find it. Superintendent who both upheld. They said one parent appealed the suspension to the principal, the superintendent, who both upheld it, and then had to go to the school board and explain why. You know, with the video being shown, it just looks very bad on that administration. You know, about basically what happened. There was also something on here about a kid playing injured, and let me see if I can find it. One of the parents that allegedly talked to the investigator said her son was almost KIA, and I'll say it that way. The coach tried to make him get back out on the field with severed blood vessels in his lungs. And I actually spoke with one of the parents. Someone had also said that her child had a spleen injury. And I did speak with that parent. They were going to come on the podcast, but I guess they had already hired an attorney. And I think that's why the school committee said, hell yeah, we investigate, and we do not. Yeah, exactly. Not even a coach went to the hospital when this kid was rushed into a rescue squad and went to the hospital with this kid. And that's when I heard the story, and that was on November 3rd, and I started talking about it. But I want to ask the school, the principal, why didn't you overturn this when you had the videotape? I'll tell you why. You're protecting your athletic director. You're protecting your football coach. This is what they do in the school department. They all protect each other. And that's why you see them all pushing this transgender BS. But we're going to talk more about this, about the Cumberland investigation as more comes out, and I told you, we're definitely going to submit a Freedom of Information Act. Hey, folks, you could get any information you want from these programs. Oh, salute to Tyler Stanton going over there to play for the Bears, not the Brown Bears, the other ones in Connecticut, Bridgewater, I believe. So salute to that. Salute to the two Hendricken kids going D1. We're going to have to wait and see if Ranji Francis, Kwity Paye's brother, is the other player to go D1. And also Oscar Ware, still waiting to see where he's going to go play college football. But, okay, everybody.
Handing on mine like they rich. I am not playing it safe. I said what I said. It is what it is. I don't care if you mad at me, okay? Go ahead and change the channel. Don't waste your time trying to cancel me, okay? They love me cause they know that I'm it. Say what you want, I guess it is what it is. Haters can talk, but they can't cancel the kid. Go ahead and go off, try and say this is it, but I swear to God, you can't cancel the kid. Everybody knows my name, from local folks to global fame. I'm vocal about the social justice movements. I expose the fakes, turn rappers into ghosts and graves. Make no mistake, they bones will break. I'll throw them in the wolf enclosure, slowly turn and close the cage. Acres full of sheep, you know that I'm the only goat. I'm great, they spoke my name to mostly hate. I don't complain, I'm woke, I wait. A total focus soldier, wrote the art of war. Know every page, I'm numb to all the dumbness. Whoa, y'all can't cancel me. Just get mad that I'm the man until you smash the screen. Like,
we don't do no talking, we know what they do.